What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark, AmericanMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm going to be talking about the fourth Bridget Jones movie? Good Lord, woman. This is Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy. It's currently available on Peacock. They didn't take this to theaters, I know. It's a streaming exclusive. That means it sucks. Actually, it's actually not, but Renee Zellweger's back as our lovely Bridget Jones, who became Bridget Darcy. So it's really not even Bridget Jones anymore. It's Bridget Darcy, mad about the boy. But no, it's neither here nor there. We won't get into the weeds. I realize once you have a branded name, you have to continue to go with the branded name. But she is referred to as Mrs. Darcy several times throughout this movie, so I'm just pointing that out for people who are aware. So Renee Zellweger stars in this. New characters. We've got David Oyelowo is here. There's a nice young man who I'm not familiar with, and I cannot remember his name. To save my life. He's in this as well. I'm sure he's done some other things that I'm supposed to remember who he is, but I don't. Especially compared to like the returning Hugh Grant, who is in this. And some other characters like Mila Jovovich is in this. And I don't know, like a lot of the other older characters who have appeared sort of at least make appearances. This is obviously in the future. Bridget has 2 kids. The first one, the boy, her son, is, I want to say 8 or 9, maybe 10, no older than that. I'm not going above 10. And then the daughter feels like she's maybe 5 or 6. She feels really young. 7, maybe, somewhere around in there. And this movie hits you right away with what the movie's actually about, which is the fact that Colin Firth died. I know that's a spoiler if you are completely unaware of what this movie's about, but he's dead from the beginning of the movie. You don't even go through a death sequence for him. He's just is dead. This movie takes place 4 years after the death of Mr. Darcy. So, it's only a twist if you didn't read the IMDb plot summary, didn't see a preview, because there's no way they can hide it because he's dead the entire movie. She tells you pretty early on, she explains sort of what happened and how sad she's been. The movie is sort of weird because I didn't really remember Bridget Jones's Baby all that well. And as I started to remember it, I was like, wasn't Patrick Dempsey in that? Is he gonna... No, he's not gonna reappear? Okay. So, but Hugh Grant's here, who I don't think was in Bridget Jones's Baby. I think it was just Colin Firth and Patrick Dempsey. So I don't think Hugh Grant has been in this movie since the second film in this franchise. But he's back as Daniel. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to like end up together. This is not like a long-winded romantic tour for those 2 characters. No. She's still a grieving widow who has to like get through her shit. And she deals with a lot of things like getting she has a nice young hot nanny that comes in and seems to be killing the game. She starts kind of exploring the dating world. She sort of meets somebody in the park and then starts texting with them. It's this cute young man who, I swear to God, he keeps saying his name is Rockstar. And I'm like, is that correct? That's what I heard every single time he said his name. He's like, Rockstar. And I'm like, is it Brockstar maybe? Your name can't be Rockstar. That can't be your name. But I'm gonna go with it because it's funny. So Rockstar is a younger gentleman with whom Bridget flirted with, and she's enjoying the flirtations with. She also runs into a teacher from her kid's school who's played by David Oyelowo. And if you're thinking, yes, you're right, he will continue to come into play because he's way too big of an actor to not continue to come into play throughout the whole movie, regardless of who you think Renee Zellweger may or may not end up with at the end of this movie. David Oyelowo is going to be here through the whole movie. It's not a cameo. So she deals with her kids and her various needs and at home, and the love and rediscovering herself and rediscovering her life and love. And she gets back into the producing game. She's got Emma Thompson is in this, and it's a cute movie, and it's actually surprisingly deep. Like, there are a lot of moments in here that really got me. There's sort of this nighttime routine. Bridget Jones has grown up a lot, and I can see people who are going to be like, why is this, why do we need this? Why is this here? I hear the people who think that all of the good things have been sucked out of the world. And it's like, no, she's still fun and flirty. She's just older, and she has kids now, so she's going to approach that from that angle. And it feels like the logical step for Bridget Jones. Like, where would she be? It's sad that we had to get here by killing off Colin Firth, but I do think this is based on a book, by the way. I don't think this is an original script. I think there is a book called Mad About the Boy. And I don't know. There were so many little scenes. They have this weird ghost moment where Colin Firth's ghost sings to his son, like he used to at night to get him off to sleep. He sings "I'd Do Anything" from Oliver, which is important, by the way. That seems important. And, the new guy, Leo Woodall. I remembered his name, Leo Woodall. There you go. Halfway through the film, I was like, Rockstar's played by Leo Woodall, and he comes around a little bit. He's young, and he thinks Bridget is a lot younger than she is, and she lets him think that too. Like, he guesses her age. He's like, I think he's like 27 or 25 or 77, something like that. And she's like, well, I'm a bit older. And he's like, oh yeah, I thought so. I think you're like 35. And she's like, yeah, we'll go with that. This kid's terrible at guessing age, but what a compliment, Like, I take it too. I mean, like, I take it all the time whenever kids don't guess my age correctly. I'm like, thank you. I am 25. I appreciate that. I think there's gray in my beard, but I think you're being nice, but still, I don't think that you undercut yourself by that much. I think if I added a couple of years onto what you really think, you probably really think something else that's a few years above that, which is still a pretty good age. I'm aging pretty well. Bridget has to navigate through love and life. She goes in for like things like career day at her kid's school. Her kids are adorable. The son could be an ass in this movie. Like, he could be, because his mom's dating. He could just be an ass the whole time and be like, no one's ever gonna replace my dad. He's not one of those kids. He's just sad. He's just kind of sad. And they don't focus a lot on the kids, but when they do, they're kind of adorable, and they miss their dad. And it's totally relatable. This is a very sad movie. This is, I don't know why this is on Valentine's Day, because it's not a hilarious rom-com. It's a very thoughtful movie. It's a very grown-up version of Bridget Jones, where she has to deal with real big grown-up issues that she didn't have to deal with in the first movie. And Renee Zellweger as an actress, since the first movie, won 2 Academy Awards. So she's much more ready to have this kind of dramatic heft behind her work. And it's good to see that. I actually really enjoyed this movie, surprisingly, and I didn't think I would. When I was like, God, they're making a 4th Bridget Jones. Oh, and it's a Peacock exclusive. Well, whoop they do. Because last year they made a Peacock exclusive Megamind sequel around this time, which was a hot mess. That was a hot mess. So the fact that the Bridget Jones movie is actually pretty good is kind of an achievement in and of itself. Um, does it go where I think it's gonna go? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, it does. We had a couple movies last year that sort of bucked the trend and suggested that an older lady could be with a younger guy, and we're not afraid of doing that. But it's still, I feel like the trend is always like when there are two potential love interests, she's gonna choose the only one. But yeah, like Lonely Planet is like Laura Dern and Liam Hemsworth. And then The Idea of You was like Anne Hathaway and Nicholas Galickson. So in the movie, those movies, not to spoil both of them, but they do at least end on like an optimistic maybe, like a maybe question mark. You know, like I said, David Oyelowo is here for a reason. I'm sorry. He just is. He's a big enough name that they didn't put him in this movie just for like no reason whatsoever. So he just keeps coming in and out and having these interesting, awkward interactions with Bridget throughout the movie. So one of them is when she goes and buys like a fuckload of condoms because she doesn't know which one to buy. So she just buys all of them. And we've seen that scene in movies before. So I'm not saying like every scene was like magic or perfect or great writing, but the dramatic heft is unusual. And the little bit of use of Colin Firth here is effective and will pull at your heartstrings. He basically appears as an apparition like every single time, like hologramish. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here, but I'm not here. I'm watching you. I'm always with you. He's like Mufasa. Um, and then he lives in you. What's it? Billy. I think his son's name is Billy. Billy, he lives in you. Actually, there is a speech, by the way, which David Oyelowo, who I fairly confident he's in The Lion King, right? He's in the Jon Favreau version, so it makes it even funnier that he has that conversation with the kid about like that, like, he lives in you. I was like, wait a minute, we're having like a full meta moment here. Yes, I like this movie. It's got some charm. It's got some drama to it. The characters are good. The acting is good. Jim Broadbent's voice was heard here. I don't know how, but I like it. I miss Jim Broadbent being in things. So I approved. I heard his voice for like 2 seconds. He's criticizing Bridget about something or telling her, I don't know, there's something in his here where his voice is in there for like a hot second, just like passing Jim Broadbent reference. And Hugh Grant surprisingly comes in and offers a very different version of Daniel that has grown up, or is learning to grow up, not quite as much as grown up as Bridget has, but he's starting to realize some things about his life. So, the audio description was okay. I know I waited all this time to tell you that. And you're like, wait, what? It's not great? It's not great. There were some times where I didn't like the choices that it made because it, like, summarized for us. I hate when we summarize. And Peacock has been doing a lot of audio description that summarizes things. It seems like, as of late, where instead of giving us a facial reaction, it'll give us like the thematic reaction. So there's something like where Bridget says something to her group of friends and other narrators would have said they look confused, you know what I'm saying, or come up with a way to describe their facial expressions. Instead, the audio description was like, they don't understand. And it's like, okay, well, that's you interpreting their facial expressions. But what are their facial expressions? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's something that would be written maybe in a script as a note for an actor, or like if we were writing a book, that's a line, but it doesn't feel like you're actually describing anything so much as you are summarizing uh the 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 reaction, the theme of this joke, of the gag. So, and that happens a couple times where I'm like, can you just describe the thing and let us come to the conclusion that because they look confused, therefore they're in, wherein they do not understand. That would be great. But surprisingly, I like this movie. I liked it more than Bridget Jones's Baby. I think I like this movie better than Bridget Jones as a Reason. I think this might be the best sequel that Bridget Jones has had. We probably should have just gone from this one to this movie. Should have just done like a legacy sequel that jumped all the way ahead in time. Although with that much time, it would have been really hard to explain why her kids are this young. So we would have needed exposition, I guess. Anyway, I'm gonna give Bridget Jones Mad About the Boy. I'm gonna give it a B plus. I think at the end of the year, I will like that grade and stand with that grade. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And remember, inclusivity is not a bad word in a day and age when DEI is being attacked. It would be really nice if you could subscribe to me because I'm really trying to do something here. So, I will see you guys on the other side.